Hey guys, welcome to the 10 at 10 Live. We wanted to bring it to you live today. We didn't have time to edit videos this week. We've been doing some cleanup and getting everything ready here at the nursery. Western North Carolina got hit hard by this storm, so continue praying and volunteering and helping everybody you can here in Western North Carolina. It's been a crazy time. We were really blessed. Our farm's been above average. We definitely took some hits, but our product is fine. We put in some poly and some gravel. I think we lost all our greenhouse doors at the whole place.
We had trees blow over. We picked them up immediately, which is fine. And then we had some poly on some greenhouses mess up and some gravel washed down to the creek. So thankfully, we've been really blessed.
Our products are well intact and they look great.
And we got power on here quick, which was good because then we had places for shower and power and water for our employees.
So we're hanging in there. I've got a bit of a sore throat, so if I sound crazy today, that's what it is. Hey, happy 1 year since we announced the Buckholtz announcement. That was 1 year ago today.
All right, before we get into the 10 at 10, I do have an announcement. Basically, we got some unprecedented expenses we weren't planning on because of this. So what we're doing in the short term is on the limited release, we're putting 2 things on the hour every hour. So we're going to work a little bit extra hard and found 2 things on the hour every hour. It's starting today at 9 a.m. You probably saw 2 things pop up on the limited release. We're just trying to cover some extra costs here because we did have greenhouse poly rip off. Our doors on some of our greenhouses got smashed. And
our staff can definitely use your support, so we really appreciate everybody continuing to shop with us. And I can reassure you, I'll go out here and do some videos and some lives today. Our products look great.
And it may be easier to get some of these trees today because, unfortunately, some of the southeast still doesn't have power. I know I don't have power at my house.
Right.
And if I was at my house, I wouldn't have
internet. A lot of our
either.
employees have been showering here at the office. We're very fortunate we got power back on here so that our water is running, so everything is operational here at Mr. Maple, and the people that can get in are getting in and getting things going. So we're saving this place for sure, and it's looking great. I mean, really, things are pretty good. Most of the things that had any trouble were down low. Down low was a little harder than up top. If you've ever been to one of our open houses, 99% of our products up top. So we had a little bit of things down low that were repots and things like that we'll have to work on. But our place is looking great. I've seen what's happened to other areas, and we've been blessed that it was as minimal as it was. But we can definitely use your support, so I appreciate everybody continuing to shop with us.
Yeah, definitely. I know sales are going to be down a little bit right now simply because so many people are without power throughout the southeast, and it's completely understandable. I'm without power at my own personal home. But we continue to try to function and get your trees out and give everybody that distraction they need, especially in times when, such horrible things have happened.
We're back to shipping, though. We've got FedEx picking up. We've got our power on, and we're back to capacity here. So we're going to be shipping trees out today.
I mean, our Wi-Fi router went out. Nigel said, I got a backup one, pulled it out. We got a Starlink on the way as a backup in case we go out again in the future.
It's been a crazy week. Mom's been making lunch for everybody that comes into work, so we've all been getting together as a community and just going and eating in her garage. People have been awesome. Trevor and Nigel getting in here and picking up trees on Saturday. Everything got stood up pretty much by Monday, so everything that was blowed over was back up. Some things are repot that were freshly potted, but my goodness, we can't complain. It was we've done really well.
So, guys, that's a little bit of an update. Let's jump into this 10 at 10. This is a live 10 at 10 for October 3rd of 2024. We're going to start off today with Picea pungens Blue Pearl. This is one of the coolest and most amazing little blue Colorado spruces. Extremely slow growing. These are grafted on standards, so it's kind of like the one that's at the Buckholtz Nursery that we've got a lot of photos of. It just makes a really tight, compact habit and just gives you a good blue color out there in the garden.
Standards are a great way to do this one. This is going to work zones 3 through 7. This was found as a broom on Fat Albert, which was also a broom. So kind of even a more compact version of that. Typically a foot in height by a foot in width in 10 years, so a very slow grower. And it's one of the best ways to get just some incredible blue going on in the garden.
Yeah, and these are grafted right around 12 to 14 inches. That just gives some good airflow, and that really helps out some of these Colorado blue spruces from developing airflow issues as they age. This is one of the slowest growing of those Colorado blue spruces. And you see Sean's bringing up some of the photos here on here as well. So we're trying to give you the full 10 at 10 experience.
We didn't have time. We didn't have Wi-Fi, so when we didn't have time to edit this video, so we said we'll just do it live because there was no chance to upload it.
All right, Corbin, what do we got next?
All right, guys, we're bringing back Acer palmatum lily pad, a fan favorite. Lily pad known for its low width, but also being a variegated Macaulay atsubusa form. A fan favorite for sure. I love this one. The name gets the name lily pad because it just spreads out slow and low and kind of makes a small area, but a lot of width to it.
I know when this thing first dropped at the Maple Society meeting, I dropped $500 on a 2-gallon.
Slow. That was $450.
Okay, $450. I knew it was a lot, but
no, that might have been $5. We were bidding hard.
Yeah, I mean, for us, for these variegated Macawi Etsubusas, they're game changers. They're something that's uniquely different than what was out there on the market. And lily pad just has that low growing habit where I got the name lily pad from. It was found as a sport on Macawi Etsubusa at Don Schmidt Nursery, and Matt and I were just like, okay, we got to have this. We got to get this in production. And it's been one of the coolest, one of the most awesome trees out there. And when you see this tree as it grows too, with its low spreading habit and tightly layering Macawa-like form, it's a pretty special tree. Good
vigor to it too. I mean, most of that's in width. I love the elongated lobes. It really gets some funkiness to it because of that. The lobes really get long. Like, it's variegated and it's heavily divided, but you get those long leaves. Pretty cool. Great when it gets into fall color too. I mean, you're going to get some of those classic Macawa colors, but it's going to be offset by that variegation.
And all the variegation is uniquely different on each and every leaf too, which is, it gives it something extra out there in the garden. Has good red fall color in the fall as well.
Great plant. Grab you a lily pad today. They're good size 1 gallons. Coming at you on today's 10 at 10.
And if you're following our live 10 at 10, I know you know that they sell out quickly on many items. So do check out, because our website doesn't hold it for you until you complete that checkout process.
They're getting the behind the scenes. This is how the 10 at 10s are made. Matt and Tim just talk. That's really all that happens anyway. All right, guys, next up we got Ginkgo biloba Fulkert Select. Now, this is a really popular one amongst our employees here. Everybody kind of loves the way the foliage looks on this one. It's got a really unique foliage to it. Again, with any of the ginkgos, you get that great fall color, that golden yellow coming up soon. And, Tim and I want to get the products on here today, too, by the way. So we wanted to go live, so our live setup's in here. But I'm like, we've got to drag the products in here. So we've got Corbin Vanna White in it. I'll hold the trees in front of me. Maybe you can see what they look like. We wanted to show you the products to show you guys our products aren't damaged. They look great right now. We've had a lot of, crazy weather in the area. But rest assured, what we're shipping out it's unscathed. Stuff looks great.
Yeah. And so Fulkert Select, this is one that would be really popular for bonsai because it does have that really small leaves. The small leaves really make this one something kind of special. And it's a slower grower. It makes a mid-sized tree 6, 8 foot, sometimes 10 foot in 10 to 15 years. But the small leaves really give this something different. It fits in a lot of people's gardens because of its smaller stature.
Great tree for bonsai because of those small leaves, too.
Yeah. Give ginkgos lime. They love lime. That allows them to get established and take up water nutrients more efficiently. Basically, what it does is it makes the pH of the soil more alkaline so the tree gets established and works more efficiently. The lime is not a fertilizer, though, so it just allows you to take the fertilizer, water, and nutrients more efficiently. So keep in mind, you can actually lime a tree year-round. You still only fertilize ginkgos in that early springtime.
These are going to work zones 3 through 9. You've heard us talk about it a lot, but ginkgos are salt-tolerant, disease-resistant. They're sun-tolerant. They work most places in the United States, all the way down to zone 3, so they're durable as heck. And that great fall color is really, one of the main talking points for this one. A deeply incised leaf, though, I think gives it a really cool palette for that fall color as well.
If you have one of these, it looks like something that belongs in a miniature garden. I mean, if you had this in a bonsai pot in a fairy garden, it would do really well. One thing I love about Fulkert Select is that small leaf, and it just gives you the appearance that you've got a large tree in a smaller setting. So, like we've mentioned before, excellent for bonsai. One thing I want to say is that I've seen a few people sell this as Colster Select. Fulkert Select is supposed to be the true name for it. We've just gotten a mislabel somewhere in the nursery industry.
Great plant. It does make a full-size upright male, so it's going to be 15 foot in 10 years, so it is a good upright plant. Really good grower overall, typically around a foot of growth a year. That lime can really affect the growth rate and pick things up there. But beautiful tree, small foliage, really showy. I think it's one of the quintessential ginkgos for fall because of that incised leaf. I think you're going to love this one. And grab you a Fulkert Select today. It's a good one. All right, Tim, what do we got next?
Next up, we've got Acer circinatum Key Setsu Dori. This is a selection from, I guess, one of the OG mail order nurseries that were online. It was World Plants or World Propagators. I think World Propagators or World. Anyways, they had a lot of really cool trees, and Matt and I ordered trees from them early on. They were probably, I don't even think they were still in the business. And we were mail ordering from them when there wasn't many other places to get Japanese maple. So I totally understand, when people mail order plants and try to get cool
Probably
plants.
Got
and
this
they
around
get
08, 07, something like that.
Yeah. So this is one of their selections of a circinatum ex palmatum. It has this really cool shrub-like form, some awesome colors of like malting, like bright purple, pink reds in the early spring that develop to darker purple red.
There's one of these at Flora Farm that's just knock your eyes out. Like, it's crazy. It'll knock your socks off. Maybe not knock your eyes out. Leave your eyes in. But an amazing plant. It's got just some crazy fuchsias and pinks going on in there. Typically an 8 to 10 foot tall tree, by about 6 to 7 foot wide. So it does fill out quite well as well. It's got that circinatum large leaf to it, though. It's got a kind of a combination of circinatum and Matsumoria style leaves. That's really, really nice.
I still remember when I had that nudist colony that was trying to get some Japanese maples.
I knew you were going to tell that story.
And I said,
as soon as I said knock your socks off, I was like,
this tree will really knock your socks off. And
I was like, well, if you're wearing socks.
Well, if you're wearing socks.
Some guy at a news colony bought a ton of plants. Luckily, they were closed when they were here.
I was talking to him on the phone. But
that's the best way to deal with a nudist colony is over the phone, I find. Not on Skype. Not on Zoom.
But Setsu Dori, an awesome selection of a circinatum ex palmatum. And, there's some cool circinatum ex palmatums. The circinatums are a native tree that's indigenous to the Pacific Northwest. And these hybrids are likely hybrids with Japanese maples because they're getting many of the characteristics that we see with Japanese maples, and they're in section palmata. They're so closely related, they're actually grafted to an Acer palmatum on the rootstock as well. In the South, and a big part of, typically with the Acer circinatum, you want to give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun in the South. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, though, many of these can handle full sun, and even sometimes in the Pacific Northeast.
One of the most next level of the circinatum, Setsu Dori, by World Plants. Grab you one. I think it's a cool one.
Did I say Pacific Northeast? Atlantic Northeast. These things are live now. I got to be more careful.
All right, man. Next up, we've got Acer palmatum dissectum filigree, sometimes known as green filigree.
Yeah, and we've got these on high grafts right now, and that's a way I really like to have filigree. This was one of our very first, I guess it's probably in our first 20 Japanese maples we had here at Mr. Maple. A local gentleman had it grafted in his yard, and my dad became good friends with it and started grafting off of it. It's really nice because it has some white flecking. It's basically reticulated variegation on a green lace leaf, and you get some white flecking in the leaves in the early spring that really just make this small green lace leaf really special. Its size, 3 to 4 feet by 3 to 4 feet in 10 years. We've got one at Mom and Dad's. It's now probably close to 4.5 to 5 foot after about 20. It's a very slow grower. Give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun, but this one's a rock star.
Yeah, this one's going to work zones 5 through 9. Try to get out of that poster a little bit so you can see what's going on here. Great looking plant. It has, that next level quality. There's not many lace leaves that are also reticulated, so it kind of has ghost-like variegation in it. Really next level for that. You get that flaking, you get that reticulation going on in it. It's kind of like taking a first ghost and combining it with a waterfall and then making it miniature. You get a lot of cool stuff going on. Give this one some shade like Tim was saying. You really can get some fine variegation going on there. The more shade you're giving it, the more flaking you can get in the variegation as well. Great golden yellow fall color. I've had it rival Ginkgos for fall color as well. I think it's a quintessential maple for a container too because of that size. It's small at its stature, so it looks good in a pot. You can move it around. One great thing about greens too, you can't overshade them. So if you have it in a pot in a shady spot, it's not going to green up more. It's going to look cooler.
And that fall color that Matt's talking about, that sort of clear yellow, can sometimes get some hints of orange in it later in the season. And that, to me, is when this one really, really shows out. One that has a lot more of those flavonoids, though, so you don't get many of those reds in the fall color at all. And for me, this one's a rock star. It's a must-have in the garden because the foliage is more intricately cut than many lace leaves as well. So the leaves themselves, really special. There's something of beauty to behold in the leaf when you just go up and look up close. Plant this somewhere close near your porch. Put it on a pot. Put it somewhere close so you can actually appreciate the intricacies of the leaves of the selection.
Sounds good to me. All right, what do we got next, Corbin? Let's bring her on in here. We've got Acer palmatum Ariadne. So we've got a podcast coming out. I believe it's this week with Cor Van Gelderen of Esveld Plantinium. Guys introduced so many great plants. His nursery is multi-generational there in Holland. You'll have to watch that for a kind of a history of Esveld Plantinium. We talked to Cor, who's one of our favorite maple people. And one of his introductions, Ariadne. This one's super next level. Heavy Matsumae style leaf with a reticulation, so it's a heavily incised reticulated one. Kind of has like a ghost-like variegation is what that means, that reticulated foliage to it. I love this one because it gets some crazy shades of lavenders and purples. It's really a next level color to it.
Yeah, and the leaf has more serrations to it too than many of the Go series. It clearly is from, it clearly has different genetics than many of the Go series. The way the leaf is divided, it has some good salmon pink new growth there in the summer too, which really helps this tree stand out. It was interesting to me when we did that podcast with Cor that I've been saying Ariadne this whole time, and he says something closer to like Ariad with like any kind of.
Well, yeah, there's Dutch pronunciations. I mean, he's going to pronounce the thing differently than us.
Yeah, it's just interesting. And this was named after his daughter, and it was actually her middle name. And it's just so cool. He's got so many selections. Check out the podcast this weekend on Esveld and Cor Van Gelderen. It's really interesting. We dive into their history, but we also go into each of Cor's daughters and sons and all the trees that he has named after them.
Grabbing Ariadne today, though, great sizes, really cool plant. We're right before fall color, so things are getting a little greener than they would most of the year right now. We still plan on having our open house, y'all. Things are great here at the nursery, so if you don't know, October 26th from 8 to 4, we're going to be open here in person. I had some people reach out to me and say, you're probably not doing the open house. Well, we plan to. We're going to be here. Again, the upper part of the nursery where people shop at open house, relatively completely unaffected. We move around a little gravel, cut down some trees that fell. Our open house is a go. We've already got the fence back up.
Yeah, we've got the fence back up and the tree down that was across the fence. And a neighbor told me, she said, it fell on your greenhouses, and Matt and I are like, oh no, we haven't had anything affect our greenhouse.
I was expecting to hit 26, the conifer house.
And we walked up there, and it fell across the road and touched our greenhouse, but did not actually penetrate the greenhouse, other than the door where it had just like a small hole, maybe it's the size of a softball.
We got to buy a lot of poly. That's the main thing. There's a lot of poly going.
And gravel.
And doors. We got to rebuild all of our doors, basically. A lot of the poly blew off down low. But a lot of those houses that were most effective didn't have any product in them, things like rootstocks and stuff. So that we're really blessed going on there, guys. And also, I just like to shout out Western North Carolina. People are awesome right now. We're out here cutting down a tree. Man stops and says, hey, can I help you? People are out helping their neighbors. It's a hard time right now in Western North Carolina. My mother-in-law staying with us. She had a bear tear into her basement during the storm. So she was sitting there during the storm with a bear in her basement hearing it. Her neighbor came over and screwed the door shut to the basement. So that's how much people are helping each other right now. I've got her some ammonia. Can't even get all the way to Black Mountain sometimes, but we've got the bear out of her basement, and I hope we scared him off. But everybody's kind of chipping in. Amy's been out there handing out bottles of water at First Baptist and giving out food and stuff. People have been really volunteering. A lot of our people here at Mr. Maple aren't in because they've been out volunteering in their communities too. So just really proud of our team and how they've been stepping up.
And because that we are slightly a little short-staffed, we're working hard to get that shipping out. We started to catch up a little bit yesterday. We'll be working hard each and every day. We're about 6 days behind now after yesterday.
It's not bad.
And we will catch up fairly quickly, as you can see, especially next week, as I believe most of our employees will be coming back early next week.
Bear with our ladies in the office. They're doing their best. There's a lot to catch up on, obviously, as we get going. All right, y'all, let's bring back some giant sizes. Y'all love these air pruning pots, these big ones. You can't even see the whole tree in here. We've got Circes canadensis, Carolina Sweetheart.
And these Carolina Sweethearts are done from tissue culture, so there is actually no graft on this tree. It's really interesting that they can tissue culture such an amazing plant. This is a selection that was developed by Tom Ranney at NC State University, and to me is one of the most amazing red buds with that pink on sort of red, that Merlot type color on the leaves. I mean, it has a unique upright habit with a semi-pendulous kind of look to it. And it is one of the most colorful red buds to pair with your flamethrowers out there in the garden. I mean, extremely ornamental on the leaves themselves. Those heart-shaped leaves are really ornamental.
I'm going to say it. I think it's my favorite red bud. Granted, my daughter's Carolina, so I might be a little partial. But I think the colors on this one are so next level. There was an absolute run on these at our spring open house. These are going to work zone 6 through 9. People have been begging for us to get this size back in stock on these. Underside of the leaves can get some pink to them. The older growth can get a little bit of green. So you kind of get green, pink, white, and different shades of kind of a purplish pink going on. Gives it a purplish hue overall. As this tree matures out to 10 to 20 feet, it is an absolute specimen in the garden. It's a highlighter. So you don't want to put this somewhere where it really shows out, can do its full thing, and eats the sun up here in the south for sure.
I know it's one of the first trees that my wife has said to me. I know Francis, Brian's wife, told him too. But my wife said, Tim, get me one of those Carolina Sweethearts. I want it for my garden. So if you've got a wife that's really that really likes pink, they don't have to really be in trees to really enjoy this tree. And it may be that gateway drug that gets them into the gardening. So to me, this one's a rock star. Anyone who saw this tree at our open house in those sort of spring colors knows how beautiful Carolina Sweetheart can be. And it, to me, is a showstopper. I mean, it's hard to beat this one when it comes to redbuds.
You heard Tim, drug your wife and buy a Carolina Sweetheart today on Mr. Maple. Great plant. You're going to love this one. It's super cool, though. And you also get those Cersei's blooms in the spring.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that people normally know redbuds for is those, fuchsia red, pink red blooms in the early spring before those leaves come out. This has that, too. It just also has some awesome leaves.
Man, I'd just like to say a shout-out, too, to all of our community. As soon as the storm happened, Mike V., Mike James, Doug McDougal, all these people are messaging us asking if they can come help, what they can do to help us. And you guys are awesome, man. We definitely feel the love, the support, and the prayers here in our area, and I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I was getting messages left and right on Facebook. As soon as I was able
People volunteering to come work weren't just saying that. They were dead serious, you know.
And we've had some challenges with the internet going in and out here. It's back now, which is good. We're going to have that more consistent going in the future, too, especially when we have Starlink as a backup option here at the nursery.
We're preparing.
We're preparing for the worst, just in case, so that we've got ways to communicate if things go down. It was really difficult for us when the internet went down and we couldn't even get to our Mr. Maple Friends group to let people know what was happening.
We've had no communication here in Western North Carolina, so Tim and I couldn't even call each other. It's our phones have been down. Our lines have been down.
We drive 20 minutes down the road, 25, 30 minutes, just to be able to pick up reception.
I'll mention this, too, just real quickly. There was a post in our group yesterday that had one of the vice president candidates in it, and people were kind of flipping out. Nobody at our team posted that, so we didn't have internet, and I didn't think it was too bad. It wasn't even meant to offend anybody, I don't think, but the point was nobody here at our team's posting anything political in our group, guys. We don't even have internet. I was at dinner with my wife for the first time, so bear with us as we try to monitor our group and stuff too, but our team is committed to bringing you maples and giving you distraction from all the crazy things in the world. That's our goal here.
I know. So next up, guys, we've got Acer palmatum Seho in 1 gallons. We've got a couple sets of these around, so I was happy to be able to drop these again because it sells out quickly. It was our first video on YouTube ever. You can go back and check out me when I actually had hair.
Tim just says that because he was in it. I was recording.
I had hair.
I helped too, dang it.
I actually had hair back then, so I'm real proud of those days back when I was 17 or 18 or whatever it was. But Acer palmatum Seho has really small leaves, tight, dense habit. Our videos calls it the ultimate bonsai because it gets out there quickly and it stays really small, tight, dense in its habit. To me, it's hard to beat it for a small shrub Japanese maple. I mean, it's one of my favorites.
We call it the ultimate dwarf. It's vigorous. It has a bright purple border to it in the spring. Chartreuse eye to that. Really tight and dense. It puts on a lot of growth from within, so it fills out nicely for bonsai people. Really cool plant, too. And I'm no bonsai expert, but it works really well with the pinchback method, so the leaves get smaller and smaller. It's one of the smallest leaf forms you'll grow. Absolutely exquisite plant. Doesn't want to grow like kiyohime. I mean, a lot of people look at this and think of kiyohime. It wants to grow into more of a small globe, so the shape is a little bit different going on there. Really a great plant, though, and it is kind of the oxymoron in being a vigorous dwarf. They tend to get out there pretty quickly when they're young, but then slow down at around 4 to 5 feet and make more of a globe shape.
And the secondary flushes, they are very, very small. Some of them are as small as my pinky's nail. So, I mean, really, really small when it comes to the actual size of the leaves on that secondary flush, especially if you remove the leaves and have them pop back out to make that appearance of, that really old tree in the landscape when it's a smaller tree in bonsai.
Grab you a Seho today. They're excellent sizes, y'all. Products are looking great. Before fall color again. It doesn't have that spring green to it, but it's one of those exquisite plants for that purple border in the spring.
Guys, next up, we've got Pinus strobus tiny curls. This is a Pinus strobus with curling needles, good blue color, and a dense, compact habit.
Guys, these are going to work zones 3 through 8, typically around 2.5 feet tall, or 2.5 feet wide by about 3 foot tall in that 10-year span, making a nice, compact form. I think you're going to love this one for the colors it brings to the garden, but most importantly, the textures. As the name implies, tiny curls, it's going to have kind of a weird curly needle to it, which gives it a unique texture in the garden. And it really is a white pine that just adds a ton of color. We don't consider this style variegated, but it kind of is because you get that two-tone, almost dark blue, dark green, and then that silvery vein going on.
Yeah, and this is a selection by Greg Williams. This is the same guy that Quercus robur, Greg's variegated, was named after. Talon Buchholz actually put that name on it. He's a plantsman that found so many amazing plants, and this is one of his Pinus strobus selections that just rocks it out.
Yeah, great plant, guys. Grab you one today. Great for the container garden or the small conifer garden. Really put some good size on the garden for that small texture and just what it can bring to the landscape.
Guys, next up we got Aureum, but we're not talking about Acer Shirasolanum Aureum. We're talking about the rare Acer palmatum Aureum.
Yeah, these are going to work zones 5 through 9. It's a unique one. It does remind me a little bit of Aoyagi on how green the bark can get. So you definitely get some greener bark textures to it and some great yellow fall color.
Yeah, for an amazing upright yellow, I mean, this can really get some yellow in the early spring to mid to late spring. It does go to a chartreuse green later on in the season. It is one of the original yellow Japanese maples that you don't see that frequently in the nursery trade. And it's one that is very different than what you see. And, this is a selection that is pretty rare. I mean,
this would be another candidate that's great for bonsai, too. We talk a lot about DeSojo and some of the others. I think Aureum's a classically used one for bonsai. It's going to typically be around 10 foot in 10 years.
Many of y'all may remember us shooting that video on Bihu with Plantman. I actually cut scions on his Acer palmatum Aureum when I was down there.
That he got from us.
And that was the Aureum so it's the first time it's been listed on MrMaple.com. We've had some in the past, years ago when people were here at the nursery in small numbers, but this was the first time we've offered it on MrMaple.com.
Grab you one today, Acer palmatum Aureum. Another popular one for DeSojo, or for bonsai, we're bringing back Acer palmatum Sejan. This is one a lot of bonsai people have been waiting on.
Yeah, this is one of those pink in the early springs that just has that intense, fiery pink color, like that pink red. There's not much that compete with that spring color of Sejan in the early spring. It's an ideal one for bonsai. It's one that people are always searching for bonsai. We've only offered it before in 10 gallons on Mr. Maple, and now we've got them in large 1 gallons.
Again, this one's going to work zones 5 through 9, small leaf, incredible pink shades. These are grafted. I always let all of our bonsai people know they're grafted. We graft these low, but you can always do air layers or rooted cuttings from these. That's how I suggest most people do their bonsai anyway. But it's going to thicken up and make a better tree in the ground. So you're going to get a quicker, bigger plant for bonsai material if you plant in the ground. And they're going to work much better from graft in the ground. So grafted product here to start with, but it's really ideal. And you're going to love this one for the spring color. Even if you're planting it as a full-size tree in the landscape, I think you're going to love Acer palmatum Sejan.
Yeah. Those spring interest Japanese maples, though, treat them kind of like flowers because that early spring is going to be their flowering period when they really just steal the show in the garden. You can plant these. They pair really well with a lot of azaleas that are those springtime blooming trees. So if you've got an azalea garden, they're phenomenal in there, but they also give that additional interest in your typical Japanese maple garden because they give that seasonal interest of just the changing of the seasons where you get the spring color, then you get summer, and then you get that fall color again. So amazing trees. Don't overlook Acer palmatum Sejan today.
I guess that's it for today's 10 at 10, guys. It's been 1 year since we made that Buchholz announcement, Tim. It's been a crazy year. We're closing it out really crazy here at the end with all the weather and excitement. We had a 300-acre fire at Buchholz last month that was keeping us pretty worried. Got within 11 miles of the nursery. Didn't think we'd have that much flooding at 2,300 feet elevation here in western North Carolina.
No.
Kind of a crazy thing. Guys, continue to support western North Carolina. We appreciate it. Be praying for the people in this region. We've been really blessed with our team coming together and getting things going again. We got an awesome team here. You continue to support our team, though, by shopping on Mr. Maple. We definitely can use your support and your sales.
And we do have on eBay right now some different trees going on, Maple Mafia. There's a chance I may be going live tomorrow to actually talk about what those trees are and go in detail some more about those that'll be going off on Sunday. More trees will be listing on Sunday. And I've got word there may be listing a large size of snow kitten on Sunday.
We'll see. There's a Buckholz truck arriving soon. So I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you like the teasers. I really appreciate your continued support for us, guys. I'll be honest, we need it right now. It's great to get Western North Carolina back on its feet. We're able to support and do more things, and our employees definitely appreciate it as they're all trying to get their lives back to normal. So we really appreciate you guys continue to shop with us.
And also we do have, again, like I mentioned earlier, 2 trees going off on the hour, every hour. We're going to try to get that set up for this weekend, today and tomorrow. But it's all set up just for today. And so you're going to be getting 2 trees on the hour every hour rather than 1 tree on the hour on top of the 10 at 10 today here at Mr. Maple.
Wanted to hop on here, guys, and just say thank you. You guys continue to support. You continue to shop with us. People in Mr. Maple friends say, hey, be patient with them. You know, things are crazy there. We're starting to get power going. We're starting to get gas stations and grocery stores back open. So there's starting to be some more normalcy here. Thank God all of our staff is accounted for and everybody's okay.
And safe.
People are praying for loved ones. There's people missing still in Western North Carolina. So we just appreciate you guys continuing to support this region in any way possible. Western North Carolina is going to bounce back.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.